Right, everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So we're finally getting back to Akane-Banashi. So like I mentioned in the other videos, the plan is to hopefully get fully caught up with this series by next week, so I can hopefully just do hopefully get to doing weekly reaction reviews for it. Like I also said in those, expect a channel update video sometime tomorrow. So without further ado, let's get into it with the Akane-Banashi Story 18, Shut It, with story by Yuki Suwanaga and art by Takamasa Moe, with translation by Stephen Paul and lettering by Snir Aaron. And it looks like, again, we don't have the Rakugo credit, but I guess that's not a big deal. So let's pick up again. So we pick up, I think, after the prelim day's first one. So you have a sign saying books. And Kane's teacher's going, Miss Osaki, congratulations on getting through the first round of the Karaku Cup. It's like, but this was only the beginning. The real deal is tomorrow. Don't get too excited. Get some rest and conserve your strength. She's like, I will. And Kuriko's like, she sounds like a sports coach. Jeff, where did Koguma Ani-san go? It's like, him? He left. She's like, he left? He's like, sticking around to say a word or two isn't going to... I think back to... Guriko's thinking back to him saying, sticking around to say a word or two isn't going to make a difference, is what he said. And she's like, oh, okay. But he did wait to see that you had moved on to the next round before he left. He might seem cold and aloof, but I do think that he cares about you. And the teacher's like, I'm sure he left because he's too ashamed to admit it. He should be honest and show that he cares. Guriko's like, really? Coming from her? He's like, I have to say though, I'm impressed that you're able to say that long line so quickly. And Akane is like, well, I've had Jugumu memorized since I was about 4 or 5. He's like, you've been doing Rakugo since you were that young? And Akane is like, actually, it was more like a tongue twister at first. I learned it from my dad. It's like, really? Then when he comes tomorrow, he's like, oh no, he won't be there. He's not even in Tokyo right now. He's off on a work assignment. And Guriko's like, I think we've talked her ear off enough for now. I'm sure she's tired. It's like, of course. It's like, see you. And she gives her a pat as she leaves. And Guriko's like, don't let the pressure get to you. Nakane's like, thanks. It's like, oh, I left my fan. Jeva, so she's been involved in Rakugo since she was little? And if she wins, she'll get a chance to sit down and speak with Isho Arakawa? I'm sure he'll be a huge benefit to her finding success as a Rakugoka. Guriko's like, I probably shouldn't say this, but it's not right that you're the only one who doesn't know. The truth is, I assume he's going to tell her about the whole father getting expelled thing. And you see... you see Azakane's gone back to the stage to go get her fan. You see someone's practicing Raku. I assume they've taken her fan. Because you have, here it is. Nakane's like, oh no, sorry, she's found it, so it's someone else's fan. Never mind. So Nakane's like, here it is. It's time to get going. It's like, shut it. I told you I gotta win this tournament today and tomorrow. Yes, Rakugo, that's why I gotta focus. Hold on. Oh, alright. I know she's practicing, but that's her actual accent, but yeah, I think she's got, what was it? No, it's not Kyoto. It's one of the, rural accents she's got. It's like, if I want to keep doing this for a living, I need to be a star. You hear? Nobody's handing out jobs to just anyone sitting around on their butts. It's like, Ma, that's because you see Akane's got a peek in her ear, peeking her head into the dressing room. And Hikaru just sees her and just kind of smiles, and Akane smiles back. And you have what? It's like, I think that's your fault, Mother. And she's like, what's she doing here? It's like, I made sure the place was empty before calling. It's like, well, I need to go. I'm hanging up now. I said I'm hanging up, Mom. It's like, did she hear my accent? I can't tell. It's like, be calm, act like nothing's wrong. And Hikaru's like, oh, did you need something? And Akane's like, I've never heard anyone talk that fast. It sounded so cool. Was that a dialect? Where are you from? It's like, oh, so you're from Fukuoka. That's so neat. I don't know. I think the Fukuoka dialect sounds cute. And Hikaru's just smiling and just trying to pretend like she's, God, not unnerved. And she's like, thanks. It's like, please stop. I'm trying to pass as a city girl. So, but you're a voice actor, right? And you do Rakugo? That's amazing. It's like, well, you're pretty special too, Akane. It's like, my dad was a Rakugoka, that's all. She's like, oh? It's like, so he taught you Rakugo? It's like, not exactly. It's more like I picked it up by watching him. I didn't get real lessons until I went to my dad's master. And she's like, master? So you're learning from a professional? Excuse me. Akane's like, yeah. I actually kind of begged to be allowed to participate in this event. Tomorrow, I've got to put on some Rakugo that won't shame my master's name. She's like, makes sense. It's like, well, I was just on my way out. Sorry to interrupt your phone call. It's like, it's fine. Bye. And as Akane leaves, she's like, she's young, pretty, talented, highly regarded by Kaisei Arakawa, and a second-generation Rakugo high schooler who studies in her professional. No wonder she thinks she can win with Jugumu. She knows she has the advantage. Huh. Interesting. Makes me feel so freaking pissed off. I refuse to let her beat me. And you see on the next day, it's all right. You did your best. Come on, let's go. And you see one of the other performers consoling one of the others who's just kind of crying softly. Yeah, it really feels like a student event, doesn't it? The guy's like, ugh! As Kaisei sneaks up behind her. It's like, there's a passion here you don't find at normal performances. And she's like, why do you always show up out of nowhere? It's like, it was just a coincidence. Anyway, your Jugumu today was great. It did the trick as a setup for later, right? Alright. The guy's like, huh? How did you... It's like, wait, was I right? I was just guessing. Thanks for the confirmation. What an asshole. He's like, I hate this guy. It's like, on the other hand, if that was you trying your hardest, I think I'd lose all interest in you just like that. And Akane's like, oh, believe me, I would not complain if you did. Not at all. He's like, don't be mean. So, but suppose you're up against the wall. I mean, it's Jugumu after all. And you did say that you would catch up to my level fast. If that's still what you intend to do, then you can't just win this event. You've got to completely blow away my master. And again, I love this effect of like this looming like shadow, like overhanging effect of Arakawa's face just like glooming behind Kaisei's head. Just love it. And Akane's like, I don't need you to tell me that. It's like, well, good for you. See ya. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And he's thinking to himself, easier said than done, Akane. Let's see if you can actually tear Master's mask off. And Hikaru's thinking, I gotta win this tournament. So you can't just win this event. It's Kaisei. Akane's like, I'm alright. Thinks back to her teacher telling her, don't be too proud of yourself. It's like, I'm not at all. I'll win tomorrow. I have to win, or I won't have gained anything. Oh, God, I love it. And you see, I guess this is the venue for the performances, Nogokuniya Books. And yeah, there's so many cameras here today. It's going to sense the real star of the show has arrived. And you see a black car pulling up with a, he's here! I love this panel where you have like all the other Rakugoku just kind of bowing to him as you have like the lights, camera lights, just flashing. Almost like Hollywood red carpet style, like, the star has arrived kind of thing. And you have, well, for such an early morning. And you have, and so as Isho makes his grand entrance, we have, this is quite a gathering we have here. The stage is set for a very tumultuous final round. Oh, alright. So, not a super lot to say about this chapter. This is kind of just set up for, the next, I don't want to say arc, but like the next stage. Get it? Stage of this current arc. So we get kind of semi-confirmation, or not get semi-confirmation, we get confirmation from Kaisei that Akane has, a plan for getting an impact with Jugumu. And apparently, like, the speed reading thing is some kind of setup for later. So again, this kind of has me on two minds. Like on the one hand, I'm like, all right, of course, yes, of course. That looking back on now, it's like, all right, yeah, obviously it was obviously set up for something else. Like that can't have like the basic thing. Like I'm just speaking really fast. Can't have been the only idea she's kind of running with for how she's gonna kind of like put her own spin or mark on the story. But I think the way the last chapter was also kind of set up, I don't think it really foreshadowed or set up the idea that there was more to it, especially with the kind of going like, I'm gonna do this with like, my right straight. I'm gonna have to just keep, punching away at this until I basically win. It didn't really give me like the sense that there was more to it, that she had like some kind of deeper plan or setup, and this was kind of like, the beginning stages of something. Like she's like basically setting up like, like hidden traps or like setups for something greater down the line. I feel like my best guess for what it could be based on what she's doing is she's gonna add in enunciations along with the speed, kind of like to blow away the impression of like, oh, speaking so fast, but I'm also enunciating and placing like different emphasis on all these words while I'm speaking super fast to kind of showcase my skill. We'll have to wait and see like what the actual trick with that is gonna be. We also kind of get like the semi-tropey thing of like, one of the characters is actually, from the rural countryside. It's like they're trying to hide their accent because they don't get made fun of and mocked and everything. It's one of those things where I'm like, it's like it really depends on how that gets played out, like how the character develops from there. Because right now it's kind of like, all right, neat trick. All right, you're pulling in a familiar trope. Let's see how you actually use it to kind of develop Hikaru's whole like one-sided rivalry at this point with Akane, because Akane doesn't really seem to see her as a rival just yet. So it'll be interesting to see if she does become one of them after the whole prelims and everything happens with the Karaku Cup stuff. That said, I love that singular panel of the flashing lights with everyone bowing to Isho. That really kind of cements the celebrity status he solidified for himself ever since the expulsion incident. Like how much like media attention and craze he's drawn to himself, and like how he's using that to his own ends to kind of not only promote himself but to also promote Rakugo. So again, like by far, bar none, probably my favorite character in the series so far. Yeah, I don't think anyone else comes close. I love me a shitty old man antagonist, and this guy's just nailing all of it. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we're going to see some of the other performers perform before we get into Kane's stuff, but we shall see what happens. But yeah. So with that said, thank you all for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed these recent spate of Akane videos. Like I mentioned at the beginning, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, because it really does help me out a lot, especially with YouTube's algorithm, because pushing the buttons helps it know that these my videos are worth promoting to a large audience, and that really does help me out a lot, especially because I would like to get to that magic subscriber number by the end of this year if possible, and I'm not like really super close, but close enough that I think it is possible to do. So I really appreciate your help with that. Like I also mentioned, I'm going to try to get caught up with Akane by next. God, sorry, I'm tripping over my words here. By next week sometime. So hopefully I'll have a good chunk of chapters out today and tomorrow, and then I'll catch up with the rest in the week. Till next time, this is Ash. Talk to you all later.